Right, welcome back. Before the break, I asked you, should court carry out civic action to protest the election law amendment? You can tweet me at Julie Masiga, at KTN News. The hashtag is News Sources. Now, moving on, National Assembly Majority Leader has sensationally claimed that Opposition Chief Raila Odinga plans to rig the 2017 general election using the electronic system. Duale claims that Raila is working with a Mr. Michael Yard, an American citizen who works for the International Foundation for Election Systems, IFES, to hack into the system of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission to defeat incumbent President Uhuru Kenyatta. The Jubilee administration has accused IFES of trying to influence the election.
And I can confirm to the country, Michael Yard was present in that meeting, and I asked for what he's doing there, and I was told he works for his organization. Now we can confirm this Michael Yard he purports to be a Canadian, but he's an American, and Michael Yard is part of the grand scheme to use technology to rig in Raila Amolo Odinga, because Raila Odinga believes that he cannot get the numbers, so he has to use foreign mercenaries and ultimately become a puppet president.
Who's fooling who?
Really, can you even look at the body language of the man speaking? He does not even believe what he's saying himself. I mean, you come and make such an allegation. He just looks stupid.
But he makes a point that saying that Raila Odinga wants to rig electronically, and Raila says that they want to rig manually.
In fact, his statement flies in the face of reason. And especially, just some minutes ago, IBC has sent a statement saying, we've been working closely with IFES. So, and this is a body that they've been supporting all through. So in this case, are they trying to turn us on the other back? And this other part, they are the ones who are trying to hack into the system of IBC. You never know, because the government has all the machinery. They cannot say opposition can overpower.
Opposition is working with a foreign government.
IFES has been here, Julie. It's been here for more than 10 years. Yes. It's been sponsoring the election. It's doing civic education. Everything it does, it's in the public domain. If, for instance, the head of IFES is the Michael Yard, and he's the one who is being said that he's going to rig the election, supporting Raila to rig the election, this is really an interesting development, because now these guys want to rig electronically, these ones want to rig manually. So it will be a rigged election anyway.
Rig, but it's just different ways.
Yeah, that's good. In fact, I wonder what Duale will do next after the press conference, because as a leader, then once he's done with the press conference, he has to do something more, okay, whatever he'll do. But I can tell you it is a time for campaigns now, okay? We will hear all manner of things. I can't remember the last thing Duale said. I was trying to remember what the last allegation he made. He exposed something very recent. I can't remember it. But it's campaign time. We will say all manner of things. If we can make people believe us, that's good enough. And it's time now to even discredit all organizations that look like they don't support our side. Okay, whether these are NGOs or whether they are any other government, bodies, even foreign governments, as long as we feel they don't fit our plan,
our agenda,
then it is time for propaganda to discredit them, and we will use. In fact, I wonder why Duale is always the one now.
I was about to ask that when Duale speaks, does it mean he's speaking for the president, or?
But even if you ask, what interest is Kenya to America? America has so much problems now.
With their own president.
With their own president. Will they even have time to even look for a small nation like Kenya to have a puppet president?
But Julie, Duale, and I'm sure he has a strong team who can help him come up with propaganda. You see, when you want to come up with something that you want people to believe, you also do some checks and make it credible, so that when you come out, you make something that people will even believe you and say. But now if you're just coming to, your agenda is to attack Raila Odinga, and anything that comes on your head, you want to say it. It really looks bad. He may have had a point, but the way
you're saying it's important to have credible propaganda, not just...
And especially coming from a leader of his stature.
Right.
Remember, politically, he's a third in line. So when he says that, he says a lot about what the government feel about this organization.
Right, now moving this conversation forward. Now, during that special sitting that saw Parliament pass the amendments to the election law, MPs also approved an amendment by Majority Leader Aden Duale, which postponed the requirement that members of county assemblies must have degrees as the minimum academic requirement until the 2022 general election. So, speechless. We go around in circles in this country. Wahame, go ahead.
Yes, academics, I am one of those who say that, well, it's good to know that the caliber of people you have in parliament or even the counties are people with some level of education. But in a country where our education system is corrupted from right to left, if you are to put such a law and say that MCAs or even MPs must all have university degrees, they'll have them by tomorrow. You will just wonder where they got them from. And all manner of things will be used to justify. Somebody will even ship in a vice chancellor to come and say, yes, I'm the one, my university is the one that gave this guy this degree. So let's just open the field for leaders. It's good that...
But is a degree necessary for leadership? Is an education necessary, or is it just leadership skills?
You see, I think, some of the best leaders we've had, I don't think it was pegged on their educational qualification. And even currently in this parliament or the county assembly, there are some people, you'll go through their papers and you will be shocked. They've never spoken in the House. They don't understand what happens. Even the bills themselves, they don't even go through them to understand what is happening. Somebody else who has the level of education is just the normal minimum will even come and approach you and say, this is what I have, I don't understand it. Can you take me through? And they're very active. So I don't think leadership should be based on degrees and masters. County assemblies in Northeastern, majority are masters. But are we not, the same issues we get from county assemblies in Central, in Nyanza, in Western, are the same things we get from counties in Northeastern. So I don't think education so much determines, maybe just the normal for communication and just understanding what happens.
I think, Julie, it depends on how you are looking at it. For me, I sit on the side of thinking that education, really good education, is important because leadership comes first, and then if that leader has gone to school, that becomes a better leader. But if you just have a leader, and because you're a leader, you'll have a lot of challenges in terms of getting to where you have to get to. Why I say that is because you should understand the work of parliament. This is legislating, making laws. Right. It's not really for every Tom, Dick, and Harry. And look, you have to understand some basics before even you get into there. To look at some of the work that they are supposed to do, like, for instance, sit through a committee and understand how IFMIS has been, money has been lost. If you sit there with people who don't even understand any basic in accounting, the people will be coming to be interviewed will be, at the end of the day, smarter than you, so it will be a waste of time. So yes, putting academics as a requirement is really unreasonable, but at least let us also have leaders who have gone to school.
The argument normally is that for a president, or say a governor, a person who makes the decisions on his own, such a person requires a high level of education. But for an institution like Parliament, which has 200 plus 300 people making decisions or discussing, then you need quite a cocktail of expertise. You don't just look for the for the papers, okay? You need people who have experience even in life, people who may not have acquired the academic papers for one reason or another, but they are leaders and they can offer leadership. Those are the kind of people you need as a mix to run this kind of an institution.
Let us give examples in the current parliament. Let us give 3 people who have not gone to school and they are good leaders. Wahome. Do we have...
no, I will not point names, but they are there.
Yeah, we can't go there.
I'm saying,
no, but you know, it is improper.
Are you also asking
to have those leaders? No. I mean, those people you will not even talk about them.
And we also have people who have very high level of education in this parliament.
Okay. Speaking about that, then what's that leadership quality that people need to have? Because what you've explained is something that I think is not attainable in Kenya. Exposed, able to make wise decisions, etc., etc. All these kind of very good qualities in one individual, and we need about 200 of them.
You see,
are we going to find them?
MPs are elected by the people. You start your work down there at the grassroots, okay? I can tell you my MP, I don't want to discuss my MP where I come from, but his or her level of education is quite low. But this is a person who has been in leadership all years, okay? This is a person who has built her profile.
Or he's leading by experience.
Yes, and people can identify. They can tell you that this person is schooled or learned, but his level of leadership, or trusting him even trusting him with resources, right, is unacceptable, okay? We can't do it. that is how people get to pick their leaders. And when they are picking them, let's not just put a mark for them at the persons you have to pick are these. Next, we will be told that you have to elect people who are beyond PhD. And we don't know what we'll do at that point. Let's have a mix of these people. We have had parliaments that we have people like Martin Shikuk, who are very good leaders, good debaters in parliament.
Exactly. Now he's just made a mention. He's made a mention. That was exactly my point.
High school.
That leadership, you can tell somebody to be a leader. He's right there.
It's not necessarily in the classroom.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be in the classroom.
Well, now, guys, let's look back over the year and see who our leaders were and who they weren't, because now this is the last time News Sources will air this year. Next week, we take a break to return in the new year. But what a year 2016 has been. We have seen and heard it all, from the explosive Josephine Kafura affidavit to the disbanding of the IEBC, and even to Britain leaving the EU and Donald Trump winning the American election. As we come to the end of the year, let's take a minute to reflect on the stories that were. Right. Let's start with you, Wafula. Newsworthiness, person of the year in your opinion?
Kavura. Kavura is for me the person of the year in terms of news making. Let me make my point.
All right.
That if it were not the February 20th affidavit by Josephine Kafura, what we have come to know about NYS may never have come out. Yeah. So yes, she started from a weak perspective because someone had to talk, someone had to say something. So just swearing that affidavit has helped even the high and mighty come down to books. Look at how Ruto has taken an about turn on the issue of NYS and everybody else. It was because of that affidavit. And that's why I say
so
Kafura was really...
What about like newsworthy event of the year? What really stuck in your mind that happened in 2016?
Wow.
It's a hard one, eh?
It's a hard one, yeah.
Roslyn?
I think what struck me was the election of Donald Trump.
Right.
Everyone was shocked. Nobody expected Donald, even himself, he didn't expect that he was going to be elected, but somehow it happened.
Right.
Yeah, but coming home, remember when you were investigating the Youth Enterprise Fund, where somebody will just sign a check off and 180 million just transferred to people's personal account. It only happens in Kenya, not any other country.
Isn't it sad that all these things are about corruption? I hope you have good news for us.
Well, for me, it's Donald Trump, yeah?
Yeah.
He's a guy who I have followed him for quite a number of years, and he just amazed me the way he made it to the very top. Coming locally here, one of the things that has really carried me, amused me, was myself. I just got shocked with myself. I did a very innocent post on my Facebook page saying that at a certain point in time in the future, we will have an accident at this particular point. And I'm woken up in the morning and I'm told that there was an accident at the very spot. And I scrolled down my updates and I saw it there and I said, wait. And when I decided to retweet it, I have been called on all kinds of names. I'm a prophet. I am I'm a prophet of doom. I read that in some newspaper. But it's only that we don't observe. Anyone who observes can observe and judge, and almost judge accurately what will happen in the next course of events. Because that's exactly how we should be moving. I think that stole the show for me.
Yes, and you're frequently insulted on your social media platforms.
Yeah. Well, it's usual. You know, right now I've just said that we need both electronic and manual registers. I expect a lot of bashing out of that, because one way or another you should be in one camp or not the other.
Or the other
yes.
one. Yeah, well, for me, I think the Eurobond saga was quite intriguing. It was so huge, and the thought that governments could perhaps collude to steal money from our people was hanging around there somewhere, and very strange. And I watched William Ruto speaking on another station saying, absolute rubbish, nothing like that ever happened, no money was stolen. And it just shocked me how our leaders can just come out and be so brazen about things, and we just listen to them and we just move on.
It's a good position, and you see most of the time, look at even what happened at Afia House and everywhere else. The first turns even on NYS was no money was lost. Right. That is always the first place to me. If you are a leader, you will actually sit down, and that's why I miss Kibaki. You'll see he's a kind of person who will first wait before he makes his judgment. He'll wait for the investigation. He'll want to ask what is really going on. But this is a situation whereby you are told there's money lost and you jump up and say there is no money lost. So tomorrow when it comes out that money has been lost, you are forced to eat humble pie.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Rosalind, final thoughts?
I think carry on next year as journalists, we need to start something like facts check. Right. So that we hold our leaders accountable. And right. Because our leaders have perfected this art of doublespeak. Right. You say this, things change, tomorrow you say that, and you say, I was misquoted, I didn't say this. Even when you can see a video that actually says the exact words you say. So I think as journalists, you should also have a database of that, so that we keep on reminding the public, this is a leader you've elected, and this is not a leader to be trusted. So that we also put our leaders on the spot for them to be held accountable of everything they do and everything they say.
Yeah, I wish everyone a happy Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's have a good 2017.
Right. Well, in the Twitter poll, we asked you tonight, should CORD carry out civic action to protest the election law amendment? Should CORD carry out civic action to protest the election law amendment? I'll just read some of your tweets here. Ngamia says, this is absolutely unnecessary and should not be the first option when a decision doesn't go your preferred way. Limovic says that leaders should be nominated on their qualities, not degrees, not exactly an answer to our question. But yeah, Philemon Langat says no such thing as credible propaganda. That's in response to you, Afula. Michael Mukuni, in response to our Twitter question, says no, let them use peaceful means. Plunging this country into chaos will not benefit anyone. And Justine Bitange says, yes, mass action is constitutional and therefore we've got the right to exercise it to 100%. And on the poll there, 57% of you say yes, CORD should carry out civic action, 29% of you say no, and 14% of you simply don't care. Well, there we have it. This is the end of our show. A Merry Christmas to you all and a very Happy New Year. We're going on a break for 1 week. We're back in the new year all set for the general election, and we do hope you'll join us on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. From me, Julie Masiga, it's a Merry Christmas. Good night.